Hello, my name is Emerio Mendez. I live in Miami, Florida. I was born in the United States, and my mother was born in Cuba. I identify as a Cuban American. I'm going to be talking about my neighbor Luis. He was born in Cuba. He is 34 years old. He was arrested for selling clothing. That was the way that he was trying to make a living in Cuba. And then he fled from Camagüey, which is a small town in Cuba, to Havana, Cuba, which is the capital, um, for better employment opportunities and better quality of life. Little did he know that all around Cuba, there is no access to the Cuban people in terms of water, food, safe shelter, healthcare, transportation, dignity, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. The Cuban people don't have access to internet until recently, and even then, the internet is controlled and monitored by the Cuban government. People in Cuba don't have access to adequate and reasonable education. You have to be sent to some weird labor camp where, in turn, you're extorted for your youth in exchange for subpar education that's provided by the state. So all of these things are normal. Right now, in this moment, Cuban people, innocent Cuban people that are protesting unarmed, demanding these things that we have here in the United States that we take for granted, they're being arrested and killed and tortured. There's people with their teeth taken out, their eyes taken out. Children are being kidnapped by the Cuban government to be trained to fight their own people. So Cuban people have had enough. So going back to Luis's story, Luis fled to Mexico for 3 years. He was homeless, and then he came to the United States. He hasn't seen his family, his mother, his kids in about 6 years. And just like his story, there are many, many other stories, like my mom, like my aunts, and many other people that I hear, how their lives have been affected on some level because of this problem. And moreover, I think that when human rights are being violated on a specific group, whether that's Cuban people, whether it's Black people here in the United States, whether it's people in Venezuela, whether it's in Cambodia, or children being sold by their own parents and family into prostitution in Bangladesh, because that does happen. That poses a threat to human rights everywhere else. So we need to think about what role do we want to play? Because we're one race. This isn't about white, Black, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, Asian, or whatever, or Native American. In essence, we are all foreigners. This land that we live here in the United States belonged to Native Americans, and we're all not supposed to be here. So the news flash is we're all human beings, and we should act as such. We should all be fighting for each other. What role do you want to play in the world that we currently live in? That question you can only answer.